Hey guys, Coach Small coming to you today. I want to talk to you about shooting the basketball. Basketball is a skill game. It requires every player on the floor be able to have multiple skills, being able to run, being able to jump, being able to play defense, to rebound, to pass, to dribble, and obviously to shoot. And being a reliable, consistent shooter is one way that you can make sure that you add value to any team that you play on. You don't become a good shooter without a couple of things. The first of which is fundamentals, which I'm going to talk to you about today. And the second of which is mastering those fundamentals to where they become habits. So with good fundamentals, good habits, and lots of practice time, you or anybody can become a really good shooter. We're going to talk today a lot about form, a lot about mindset, and how you can spend some time on your own working on being a better shooter, whether you have a goal, whether it's raining outside, whether you have a court or any of that stuff. You can work on some things at home as long as you got a basketball to be a better shooter. The first thing we're going to talk about is your form. All right, no great shooter is able to be consistent or become great without having great form. And we're going to talk about the BEEF method, B-E-E-F. All right, and the first B is balance. You want to be on balance. Have your feet shoulder width apart. All right, and you want to have a nice athletic stance, knees bent, butt beneath you, straight back. All right, so that you want everything to be on balance. If you are off balance, it's really hard to get off a great shot. The first E is eyes. Your eyes are on the target. The earlier you can find your target, the better chance you have of making a shot. If you think about a guy that shoots a bow and arrow, he spends more time aiming than he does shooting. He holds his aim for a long time and gets it just right, and then he shoots. He's got a long time to look at his target. We don't have as long in basketball, but you want to be able to get your eyes on your target. There's a lot of different theories on what you should be looking at when you're looking at the rim. I like to teach two different methods. Either one, look directly at the back of the rim, the back inside part of the rim, or if you can look at the net and find the W that lines up most to you and look at the middle part of that W, all right, right here, and you aim at that, all right, right there at the front of the rim, you should be able to have a good target and line of sight. The second E in the BEEF method is elbow. You want your elbow to be directly under the basketball. A lot of people shoot it like this. Some people put it over their head. A lot of bad methods. If your elbow flies out on you, your ball is going to have incorrect spin. All right, it's going to be harder to aim. And so you want to make sure your elbow is directly underneath the basketball so you can shoot straight up and down. All right, when it's out here, you're shooting that way and you're pushing the ball and putting a side spin on it directly under the basketball. Balance, eyes, elbow, and the F is the follow through. All right, it is not a hot potato. I see so many folks go out to the park and shoot it. Oh, look at me, I can shoot it and pull back. Well, when you do that, you're pulling back at different parts every time. It cannot be consistent. See, everybody's anatomy is your anatomy, and your elbow is only going to go as far as your elbow is going to allow you to go, and everybody's a little bit different, all right? But if you do it completely follow through every single time and hold your follow through with your hands hanging down, all right, you will have a consistent release, consistent follow through, and a consistent shot. And when you can start to be consistent, that's when you're going to start to figure out your shot and how you best make shots. Now that we've gone over the BEEF method, we're going to be on balance. Okay, our eyes are going to be on the target. We're going to have our elbow directly on the ball, and we're going to make sure that we follow through. We want to talk about a couple of really intense points with regards to shooting and hand positioning that are going to make or break whether you can become a consistent shooter or not. All right, so now that we know we're on balance and we're staring at our target, we have a lot of different methods, and I'm sure you see it with all your friends. Everybody shoots it a little bit differently. But here's what I've always told my players. If you can't shoot one-handed, you can't shoot. All right? So you have two hands. Everybody uses two hands to help them shoot. But you should not be shooting with both hands. You should be shooting with your dominant, strong hand. All right? We see guys with their hand in front of the ball when they shoot it, with their hand on top of the ball when they shoot it. All right? Here, all right, we see guys push it with two hands. We see folks shoot it from their chest. We see them shoot it from their shoulder, behind their head, over their head, from the wrong side of their face. And by wrong side, I mean not your dominant hand side. So I'm right-handed, all right? So I use my right hand, all right? And we also want to talk about the shooter's eye. Whatever hand you shoot with, that is your shooter's eye. So the ball should be directly above your shooter's eye. It should not be in the middle of my head. It should not be to the left of my nose. It should be to the right of my nose, just above my shooter's eye. So I can still see the rim, all right, right here. The ball's not behind my head. It's not by my shoulder. It's not under my chest. I'm able to keep my elbow, like we talked about, directly under the basketball, all right, and we have our shooting eye at the basket. Now that we have the ball in the right position, all right, as you notice, all right, you can't see, but my fingers are very spread, and you want them across the seams. You want to get in the habit. One thing you can practice at home, throw the ball up to yourself and what we call fix it. Right now, it's not fixed. I got to fix it. I got to get my hands across the seams. So you can just throw it up and fix the ball. Throw it up, fix the ball. Throw it up, fix the ball. Throw it up and get practice, because your guys are going to throw it different ways. Your teammates are going to have different passes. You're going to catch it in different spots. All right, low, high, whatever, and you've got to be able to catch it, fix it, hands across the seams, all right, where you can get the ball above your shooting eye. So that's one drill that you can do. You can have a brother, sister, dad, mom, whoever throw it to you, or you can just toss the ball up yourself. Just spin it, catch it, and fix it. All right, so that's the first step we want to get in the habit of, is being able to get our hands directly across the seams where we can create perfect backspin. We don't want to have a side spin to the ball. We don't want to have this kind of side spin. We certainly don't want to have overspin. We want to have backspin, all right? And it should be straight. You should be able to watch the laces turned end over end. So try right now, throwing the ball up, getting a partner to throw it to you, and fixing it. You should probably do this a good 100, 150 times. If you did that, for 10 minutes a day, all right, then you would be in a much better position, getting used to fixing the ball and putting it in a good position to shoot. Now that we've caught the ball, we're on balance, we've got our eyes on the rim, all right, we've got our elbow under the ball and above our shooting eye, the ball is fixed, I got my hands across the laces. The thing that trips up most youth basketball players is their offhand. All right, remember what I said? If you can't shoot one-handed, you can't shoot. So many folks have their hand involved, their offhand, this is my left hand, they have it way too involved in the shot, and it affects that spin that we want, and it affects the direction the ball goes. So we want to be able to shoot one-handed. All right, so the key is, I know that you're using both hands, but you've caught it, you fixed the ball, you want to be right here, and right when you get ready to release, all my left hand does is help me lift the ball and guide it right above my shooting eye to be ready to shoot. And then right before I shoot, I let go and I shoot with one hand. All right, we want to be able to shoot it with one hand. Notice my left hand does absolutely nothing. It raises the ball up for me. I got it above my shooting eye, and then it stays still. I know not everybody's a Florida State fan, but that's how you can check if your hands are doing what they need to do. When you shoot it, my left hand doesn't move at all. Follow through, my elbow's tight, all right, straight up and down, all right, and my left hand has not moved at all. It helps guide it up, and then its job is done. And when you finish shooting, you should look at your hand. So many things that I see, all right, the one most common thing that I see is your thumb is involved. So a lot of times you'll see this, and a guy's thumb will be here. It should not be there. That thumb, that little thumb, you got 10 fingers, but that thumb will do a lot of damage to your shot. You have got to get that thumb out of your shot. You are a one-handed shooter now. Notice my hand here. All right, my thumb is not involved. When my thumb gets involved, all right, now we've got a weird spin on the ball. The other thing is a lot of folks shoot with both hands. So when they get done shooting, they look, you got both hands. We're not waving at the basket. We're shooting a basketball. So you don't want to end up here. So one way you can always check your shot is to check your offhand. Shoot the ball, look at your offhand. Is it waving at the basket? Is it down? Is your thumb involved? All right. Is it over here? It shouldn't be over here. It should be right there. It doesn't have to move. Lift the ball straight. Now, this is a drill that you can do without a basketball. Pretend like you have a basketball, hands wide, across the seams, offhand on the side of the ball. You're going to take it, lift it straight up over your eye, elbow underneath, and shoot. Offhand doesn't move. Shoot. All right? Do this 25, 50, 100 times. Do this before you even pick up a basketball during the day. All right? You can practice this all day long. All right? And that's easy to repeat and remember. Okay, so to recap, we have worked on catching it and fixing it, getting our hands across the seams. All right, that's drill number 1. Drill number 2 is to work on, without a basketball, getting our shooting hand and our guide hand right above our shooting eye and following directly through without any movement from my offhand, all right, my off thumb, all right, just to practice that follow through, straight up and down, hold the follow through, let the hands dangle. Now we can add a basketball to this. All right, I'm sitting in a chair. You can do it kneeling on one knee. All right, later on I'll show you how you can do it laying down on the floor, or you can just stand up in your driveway if you have some room in your house, if you have high enough ceilings or whatever it may be. All right, so I don't, so I'm going to start sitting in a chair, but you can practice all these 3 things in one. Catch the ball, fix it, cross your hands, raise it up, all right, and then nice and soft. And all you want to get used to doing is keeping your left hand uninvolved. Just a quick release right before you shoot it. See the space in between? All right, and then now what I'm working on is creating backspin. Backspin, you want the ball to spin towards you, all right? Shooting. And I just need to do this a couple hundred times a day just to get used to, all right, making sure I'm following through, making sure I'm creating backspin. I can always check my shot. Like in math, you can check your answer to see if you got the right answer. You can always check your shot and see if you did it correctly. First thing I'm going to see once I shoot it is my backspin. Is the ball is staying straight on its axis and spinning? Is it side spinning? Is it weird? Is it going forward? Anything other than spinning backwards or spinning towards you, all right, is going to be off. So it needs to just be spinning, 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 all right, towards you, backspin towards you. All right, that's the first check. The next thing that after I see my follow through and I see the backspin, then I look at my offhand. Was my left thumb involved? Am I waving at the rim with both hands? Did I shoot with both hands? Did I lose my hand over here? I don't know. You've got to check. And you want this thing to be nice and tight, all right, like a tomahawk chop. So when you shoot it, you can sit in a chair, you can kneel down and work on it. You work on your backspin, work on not getting your hand involved. Elbow under the ball, right above your shooting eye, release it, all right? So these are 3 things you can do inside without a partner, without a goal, without a high ceiling. All you need is a ball, some time, all right, and the willingness to practice. And if you get it wrong, that's okay. Work on getting it right. You only get better by practicing something and practicing something the right way. So if you're continually doing this and your other hand's involved and you've got 2 hands on it and your side spin, and you just keep doing that over and over, you will not get better. You have to self-check. You have to evaluate, is my hand staying off the ball? Is my thumb not involved? Am I keeping my elbow under the ball? Am I flying out here? If you're flying out here, it's going to have a funky spin on it. It's going to spin weird. That's why you want to keep your elbow under the ball, right above your shooting eye, there. All right? So work on those things, and I'm going to give you some other things here coming up. All right, guys, like I said, You get bored, you get tired, you can lay on your back and work on your backspin and your release. All you got to do, lay flat on your back. You can have your legs straight out or your legs bent. My feet are flat on the floor right now. And you want to get your aim. You want the ball right over your shooting eye. As you can see, it's a little bit in front of my head. It's never going to touch my forehead. You don't want the ball to touch your forehead. A little bit in front of your forehead. All right. Shooting hand on, guide hand on the side, and we're just going to extend the elbow. And we're going to work on our backspin. You want to check the ball, make sure it's spinning backwards correctly. All right. And you do that by really flipping your wrist. You know, really flip the wrist. Get that backspin going. You do not want your offhand involved in any way. It's just kind of helping you get it to here, and then you're shooting it, and you're able to check your backspin. You're able to check your offhand. You're able to check your follow through in a very relaxed manner. You can lie on your bed. You can lie on the floor while you're watching TV, and you can do this and work on your shot and become a better shooter just by lying down. All right, so we've worked on the basics of catching it, getting our form under control, all right, and where our hands need to be. But let's think about shooting for a second. You can miss a shot 4 different ways in 4 different places. So, what are those? How can you miss a shot? Where do you miss shots? Well, you can miss them long. You have too much power on there. You can miss it short, not enough. You can miss it left, all right? Or you can miss it right. So 4 different ways you can miss a shot. So if there was a way that I could eliminate 2 of those misses, I could be instantly a 50% better shooter than I am right now. So how do I eliminate those 2? Well, as a coach, I try to tell my players, if you're on line every single time, that's what you ultimately want as a shooter. Sometimes you're going to shoot a little too hard and it's going to be long. Sometimes you're going to misjudge it a bit and it'll be short. But if it was on line, I can live with that, and you can too. Now, missing left and missing right, that's not okay. Those are not acceptable, all right? And we eliminate those by our hand positions, by our elbow position. So if your other hand's involved, it's going to have an effect on where the ball goes. All right, if your offhand gets too involved, if your thumb gets involved, it's going to affect the spin, which could affect where the ball goes. If your elbow starts flying out on you, all right, you could be pushing the ball to one side or the other. So that is why we want to eliminate left misses and right misses. All right, you're never going to make every single shot you take. And if you go out and play a game and you start getting discouraged, all right, because you missed a couple of shots, well, that's going to affect the way that you play defense. That's going to affect the way that you handle yourself on the offensive end. If your mind's caught up in, oh, I just missed 2 shots in a row and my percentage is going down, that is the wrong way to play the game. And if I see one of my players on the floor thinking about his shot percentage or in the tank or a bad attitude because he missed a couple shots, I'm pulling him out. All right, it's okay to miss shots. Just take the right shots and do everything you can do. Work as hard as you possibly can. Get your form down. Practice regularly. All right, and get it to where you're online every single time. I'm going to include on this video a series of photos from NBA players which you know very well. And in these photos, all right, you're going to see where their hand position is. You're going to see that they don't use their guide hand in any way, shape, or form to shoot the ball. In all of these instances, what you're seeing now, all right, you can see that their shooting hand is under the ball, right, and their guide hand is off the ball before they release it. So I think it's important to understand that you watch these guys play on the NBA night after night after night. And yes, the first thing I talked about today was balance. And a lot of these guys take off-balance shots. These are the best 100 or so players in the world, all right? and they practice these, and they have been playing for a long time, and they are some of the most elite athletes in the world. All right? You trying to make these acrobatic shots that some of these guys make on a nightly basis is not the way that you build your game or your career. Focus on the fundamentals. Once you get those down, because you can see, even if their body is out of position, even if they're fading away or fading to the side to avoid a defender, that their elbow's still under the ball, that their shooting hand is the last thing to touch it, and that they, all right, do not influence the ball in any way with their guide hand. You can take a lot from these photos. It's probably more powerful than the things that I've shown you, because you can see these guys who are the best in the world of basketball doing everything exactly the way that I've taught you to do it so far. All right, you've got everything that you need. You've got beef, balance, eyes, elbow, and follow through, and you've practiced it. You understand how to make sure that your shooting hand is the last thing that touches the ball, and your guide hand does not influence your shot whatsoever. You're going to be online every single time. You're never going to miss to the left or to the right, and you are going to be dead on line, long or short, regardless. You've worked on catching the ball and fixing it. You've worked on your release, getting your elbow underneath. You have worked on making sure you get correct backspin on the ball, all right? And so now you're eager. You want to go outside. You want to work on it. You want to see, hey, I got a goal in my driveway. I want to go work on this. So what am I going to do now? All right? Again, balance. You want your feet shoulder width or just under your armpits a little bit, all right? You want your eyes on the rim, okay? And you want that elbow underneath, okay? And then you want that follow through, that sweet follow through. But here's the deal. If you walk into a gym or you walk out into the driveway or out to the park, and the first thing you do when you pick up a basketball is you go shoot some threes, all right? Or you go shoot a half court shot, you're not going to get better at your game, okay? The greatest walk in the gym, they stand about 3 feet away from the basket, and they work on those things that we just did. The way I would warm up, or what I would practice right now, all right, is you got to be very careful, because all of you have habits that are not great habits in your shooting right now. You have to break those, and you don't break it day one. You don't break it by lying in your bed one day and working on your backspin, or sitting in a chair and working on your release and your backspin one day. It takes days and days and weeks and months and lots of hours of practicing to get it down. Then you want to take this to the goal. You want to be about 3 or 4 feet away from the goal. All right, again, feet underneath your armpits. You want to get a nice athletic stance. All right, and understand that all your power comes up from your legs. You don't want to just stand here and shoot with your arm, shoot with your arm, shoot with your arm. You want to be nice and athletic. You want to get the ball here. All right, and everything starts in your toes, rises up, rises up, rises up into your shot. All right, and you want to shoot the ball high, and you want to shoot it soft. You want the ball to come down directly on top of the rim. If it comes in at an angle, all right, then it's liable to bounce off at an angle. If it comes down on top of the rim and you miss a little bit, it bounces up, it could bounce right back down into the rim. See, a lot of you may not realize a regulation size rim fits 2 basketballs in it side by side. But that's only if they come straight down to it. At any angle, now it won't fit 2 basketballs. So the flatter your shot is, the less chance it has going. You want to shoot it high, a nice arc, nice and soft. So you want to go, when you walk out there, you go outside today and you work on these things, you don't want to go 15, 20 feet away from the basket. You want to stay, I work on 3 feet away on the left side, 3 feet away right in front of the basket, 3 feet away on the right side. Then I might back up to 5 feet. 5 feet on the left, 5 feet straight in front, 5 feet on the right. And I try to swish 10 in a row before I move. So if I'm 3 feet away on the left side and I've swished 9 and I rattle 1 in, got to start over. That's how you become precise. That's how you become a better shooter. That's what you focus on, is being perfect, because it's not going to be perfect in the game. So if you can be perfect in practice, if your release can be perfect, if your offhand can stay out of there, if your elbow can be underneath, you can stay on balance and make sure you're following through, all right, and doing it perfect every single time, and slowly. You don't have to work very fast. And the biggest thing is, and I make high school guys do this, we shoot one-handed. We go to the rim, we're 3 feet away. I make them stand right here. They got to get the ball under, their elbow under the ball. They got to get the ball right above their shooting eye, and their offhand is not involved. So this will be the first thing that I suggest. Right here, you can practice that inside, right there. If your elbow flies out, the ball will fall off. So you have to have your elbow directly under the ball, and then you want to pause. You want to pause for 2 or 3 seconds, get it here, pause, eyes on the rim, and then you want to shoot it. You want to get back to 3 feet away. Your offhand is not allowed to touch the ball at all. All right, so I would do that, try to swish 10 from each spot, back up to 5 feet, swish 10 from each spot, maybe go to 12 feet and do that, and then I would shoot free throws like that. I would not try to shoot threes like that right now until you get stronger and stronger and more used to this. But the more shots you can take, just at practice, just at home, without your guide hand touching the ball. We do one-hand shooting every single day with my guys. It's super important. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you get out and practice. That's the only way you're going to get any better. Always good seeing you. Hope to see you guys soon. Take care of yourself.